All right, today we're going to talk about the discovery of the New World, Central and South America. Central and South America was mostly explored by Spanish explorers, which were called conquistadors. These conquistadors were kind of conquering soldier type people. They didn't really go for discovery so much as to fight and to conquer the people there. Read.
Didn't know that. So the conquistadors, the Spanish word for conqueror is conquistador. Many Spanish soldiers and explorers traveled to the Americas after Christopher Columbus made the first trip in 1492. These conquistadors sailed to the Americas to conquer the native people, to spread Christianity, and to look for gold and other treasures. For the conquistadors, conquering the New World for riches, fame, and glory was their top priority. Any exploration almost seemed accidental. The two most famous of these conquistadors were Hernandez, Cortes, and Francisco Pizarro. They were also cousins.
Okay, so we can see by what's here that the conquistadors were there in the South America and the Central America to conquer the native people and to spread their religion upon the land. Anything that happened to do with exploration, almost being accidental, their first primary goal was to acquire new land. Okay, let's talk about Herman Cortes.
Hernandez Cortes.
Hernandez Cortes.
Let's see, 1485 to he lived 1485 to 1547. Family, early life, and education. Hernandez, or Hernan Cortes, was born in Medellin, Spain in 1485. He came from a fairly famous family, and his father was a captain in the Spanish army. His parents wanted him to become a lawyer and sent him to school to study law when he was 14. Cortes wasn't interested in becoming a lawyer and returned home when he was 16. Cortes heard of Christopher Columbus's discoveries in the New World. He wanted to travel and see new lands. He also wanted to make his fortune and fame.
Oh yeah, this brings us right back to the point. You see this man, he also wanted to make his fortune and fame. It does not say he set out because he wanted to explore. This man was out to make some money. Okay. The conquest of Hispania and Cuba in the Caribbean Sea.
Okay, so he went to the New World in 1506. In 1511, he took part in the Spanish conquest of Hispaniola, that's a hard one to say, and Cuba, where the Arawak people lived. In 1513, the Spanish built the town Bayamo. The next year, they built Trinidad and Santo Espiritu, Puerto Principe, and Santiago de Cuba.
Okay, don't worry if you can't pronounce these names
These Spanish
very well.
words.
These are Spanish, not English words. Okay, so this is the area that his first trip to the New World, he was exploring or conquering, as you'd say. The first thing he did was conquer the people in Hispaniola. Okay.
In 1519, Cortes set out from Cuba with a fleet of ships, 600 men and about 20 horses. They went to the Yucatan to look for gold and to get Mexico ready for colonization. They landed in Yucatan Peninsula and met
Geronimo
de Aguilar, a priest who lived through a shipwreck. He knew a lot about the Maya, who owned this section of land.
Okay, let's just go back a little bit to the map. Okay, now the Yucatan is this part right here. It's the very southern part of Mexico.
Okay. Cortes took over the Yucatan while winning a battle against the people of Tabasco. He met a woman, La Malinche, who knew the Maya and Aztec languages. She acted as his translator when he talked with Maya and Aztec people. The conquest of Mexico. In July 1519, the Spanish took over Veracruz and left 100 men there. That August, Cortes went to Tenochtitlan, the capital of the Aztec Empire. He brought 400 men, 15 horsemen, and 15 cannons with him. On his way, he met Native American tribes like the Nahus of Tlaxcala and the Totonays of Kempole.
Okay, like we said, don't worry if you can't pronounce these words. We have difficulties too. Okay, when he was invaded Mexico, the big place that was the capital of the Mayan people was Tenochtitlan. Anyway,
The Aztec Empire.
it's of the Aztec Empire, sorry. This was their capital, and this city now exists even to this day, called Mexico City. Okay.
All right. In October 1519, Cortes gathered his soldiers and around 3,000 other people, Tlaxcalteca, who did not like the Aztecs. His goal was to scare the Aztecs in Tenochtitlan. He then went on a killing spree and burned down the city. When he came to Tenochtitlan, he had a vast army of Aztec enemies. Cortes was surprised by Tenochtitlan was as great as Constantinople. In November, the emperor of the Aztecs, Moctezuma II, welcomed Cortes and his army. Montezuma II let him into Aztec territory where they learned the Aztecs' weaknesses and then destroyed them.
Okay, so this really shows how Cortes thought. He was a soldier first, okay? Not only did he go there to conquer the Aztec people, but it shows, first thing he did was he created an army, right? He gathered up people that didn't like the Aztec. They weren't his allies. He just said, hey, you don't like these people, I don't like these people, let's go get them. And that's what he did. And when he went to the capital for the Aztecs, he showed up with force, and the Aztec was like, hey, we can be friends, and let them into the city to see the city. And Cortes was really, really impressed with this city, but it really drove him to want to take it over more. So what he did while he was in this city is he was looking around to see what the weaknesses were, so when he attacked, he could be a more efficient soldier. Okay.
The emperor gave them gold, and Cortes later told King Charles V that the Aztecs might have thought he was one of their gods. Quetzalcoatl, the feathered serpent with fair skin and a beard.
Okay, let's just roll back a little bit. Here's Quetzalcoatl. Alright?
Cortes quickly realized that some Spaniards had been attacked on the coast and planned to kidnap Moctezuma and his house and make him swear loyalty to King Charles V. On the night of June 30th to July 1st, 1520, the Aztecs attacked, but the majority of the Spanish escaped and allied themselves with the enemies of the Aztec Empire. Later in 1521, with his army of a few Spaniards and many natives, Cortes destroyed Tenochtitlan and took over the Aztec Empire. After conquering the Aztecs, Cortes named the city of Tenochtitlan to Mexico City. The city became the Spanish capital of the territory, which was now called New Spain.
Okay, so here, just go through what we just read. We can see how how Cortes, with his knowledge of the city, his relationship with the Aztec enemies, that when he went back and he heard a rumor that the Aztecs were gonna do something to him, he was able to immediately gather a big army, head in, and because he knew the weaknesses of the city, take it over and destroy the city easily. He was a military man first, an explorer accidentally.
Okay, legacy. Hernandez Cortes established Mexico City, which is the largest city in the Americas today and is the capital of Mexico. So you should be reading, you should now watch the multimedia number 15 about Cortes and
Answer the question.
then answer these questions in the quiz assignment.
Let's have a look at the long-lasting legacy of Cortes, the city that he invaded and took over is still named after the name he gave it, Mexico City. And inside Mexico City there is a statue. There's Herman Cortes, all right? And they have a lion, which is not traditionally associated with the Spanish at the time, but they made him a lion. And you can see here, this woman is his translator, right? And down here, also there's a main wall that runs through Mexico City that still bears a plaque from when it was built in Cortes's time.
1519 it says.
Yeah, 1519. That wall's been there a long time. Okay, I'm gonna stop talking, Darren's gonna stop talking, you're gonna watch the multimedia we gave you and answer the questions. Until next week.
And click that like button and subscribe to our
Oh
channel.
yeah, here's the subscribe button, probably not there. Over here is the paper clips.